Are we back live? Oh my God. Okay. We're back live.
Sorry. I just
My
posted
audio.
to everyone in your I just posted to everyone in your Discord that you're still trying to figure out life, the universe, and everything.
Dude, the struggle is real.
Oh my God, that was fucking hilarious.
The struggle is real. I think I figured it out. We're back live, regardless. Nobody is watching, according to the little eyeball in the sky. So
Only the subscribers are going to get notification that for some random fucked up reason, you just went live at midnight.
right. They're gonna be like, Tim is drunk.
Yep.
Why did this happen?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I will. You know what? Screw it. We're back. We're here. We've got one viewer so far.
Someone found it.
And
Someone found their way.
Someone found that I made a horrible mistake, and I'm gonna just apologize for my audio. Usually, my phone gives me a warning that it's about to die, but I think my phone died. Which happens when Mike is on the show because we talk too much. I talk too much.
We do.
Looks like it's Dan here.
We can get to talking, that's for sure.
And I don't care, man. Good problem to have.
Sure.
But anyways, I will just bring it back up that my number one is Gotham City. Hold on. Gotham City Under Siege. I want to read Gotham City as one word.
It is. It's Gotham City Under Siege.
Gotham City Under Siege is my number one. That's the game I need to play.
We're playing it. At some point, we're playing it.
Dude, Mike, I'm excited you made it. Yeah, I made it number one just to like pick on you a little bit.
Sure.
But it would have been on my list.
Yeah.
But mad respect, you made a game.
Thank you.
I love it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're here. So
happy to be here.
Know, if you want to watch Mike feel all embarrassed about everything that I heaped upon him, go watch the previous 2.5 hours that we put on. Fast forward to the end. You'll see it there. But no, dude, legit want to play your game. Very excited about it.
We'll play it.
What an awesome IP. What an amazing opportunity. You have a great story about that. I think if you ever run into Mike at a con, ask him about that story.
Please.
He is happy to share it.
Absolutely.
And if he's not, say, you know what? Tim said you would tell me what that story is. Pressure him into telling you that story.
The only way I'll tell it is if you tell me that you saw this on Board Game Rundown. Like that's your secret code to get me to tell you the story.
The epic disaster that was my my phone dying. But yeah, all right. Yeah. Now that we built it up, Mike, your number one better be the best damn game of all time that you've never played.
I mean, to some people it might be. It's definitely not going to live up to that because that was unnecessary, and I appreciate every moment of it. I'm going to go with Camp Grizzly.
Oh, dude, I want to play that game so bad.
It's right there. I didn't realize that it was such a hard game to come by. I guess it was in a small print run.
Yes.
But all of a sudden it hit and everyone wants to play it, and it's a grail for so many people. And I just kind of want to know why. I feel bad that it's on top of Battlestar Galactica, ironically. I want to know why it's everyone's like grail game. Like what's so good about it? Because honestly, the box is not very good. I know it's an older game. So Final Girl I've played, and I know the development team, and I know people that have designed for it, and it's good. I mean, it's Hostage Negotiator with like that really cool twist of being the final girl in a movie. and I love the production value. I posted a picture of Final Girl, the big box, season 1, season 2. It's awesome the way they do the player mat box looks like a VCR, like really
Yeah.
smart. Van Ryder they're just amazing. Evan and AJ and that whole Julie now over there, they're great people. But Final Girl was always, I mean, Camp Grizzly was always a Grail game, and I just want to know why. Of all the games I have, like that is the one that I want to learn about Vagrant Song. I want to play Paleo and see why it won the award. I want to play these games, but Camp Grizzly I think is the one that's most puzzling for me.
Dude, Camp Grizzly is that is a game that I've looked at many times, and getting it on the secondary market because of its popularity
Yep,
has been cost prohibitive
absolutely.
for me. And to me, that is only like makes me kind of want it more because it's like, oh, well, what's so good about this game? People are because I will dig on price gouging on the secondary market. I'll be the first guy to go, you know what, that's BS. You shouldn't be charging that much. But also, though, the market will dictate need, right?
For
And
sure.
desire for that. If it's a junk game, that game's going to sell for $10 on BGG or Facebook Marketplace or wherever you like to look, right? It's going to be
Right,
on mini market on clearance if nobody's buying that damn game,
right.
you know. But
For sure.
instead, what's happening is that game, the price point holds, on it.
Goes up. It keeps going up.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to play it. I want to play it. I want to play Final Girl too. Again, I'm a horror movie fan. I grew up on horror movies. I love it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
remember the Felicia Day, the Dead of Winter's Felicia
oh my
Day.
God.
It was like $50 for that one promo card. Like what?
Yeah. I
Just
wouldn't pay
because you
50
can't get
bucks.
it, you don't go to the con. Like that stuff, it kills me.
I wouldn't pay $50 for Dead of Winter. It's a fine game. I don't
Okay.
love it. I think it's a little overrated. Um, but I think what Plaid Hat did there is really good. You know,
Sure.
I think by the time it came out, I was a little over zombies. But yeah, that Felicia Day promo, like blowing up, and again, nothing against her, amazing human being, right? By all means, super cool. I get it. Um, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. There's no way I'm paying as much for a promo that I would for the game or more.
Yeah, well, look at Thanos Rising or the Death Eaters Rising, right? The op would put out those promo cards and they were free at the booth. But if you
Yeah.
can't get to Gen Con or you can't get to a convention, you don't get them. Now you're spending 50, 60, $70 on the set because somebody
Yeah.
else was lucky enough to beat like that. That drives me nuts. But
Yeah. I've got the ones for Thanos Rising because I went to Gen Con at the booth and picked up the cards.
do you have the
Right.
second one, the second set?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
I don't. I missed out on the second set.
But again, though, right? Like, look, that game's fine. It's a fun co-op. It's
Yeah.
difficult. I enjoy it quite a bit. Actually, I'm really excited because I don't have it yet, but my sister has it for me. It's at her house. I got to pick it up. But I just got Star Wars Rising,
Dark Side Rising.
which is, the Star Wars version.
Yeah, it's Dark Side Rising. It's the Star Wars version of it. I have it right here. That's a great story too. If you ever meet Andrew Wolf, talk to him about how they selected the characters for Dark Side Rising.
Yeah, I said Star Wars Rising. It's Dark Side Rising.
Right.
I just got Dark Side Rising off of somebody that basically I bought it through a friend of my sister's.
Nice.
Like, hey, they're unloading a bunch of games. And I know that one was only released in Europe. And I'm like, that's the one I want.
Yeah.
But the Star Wars IP is easier to do, in other countries, cheaper to do.
Well, look at Comic Hunters, right? Like that game is so good.
Right.
But you can't get it in North America because of the license or whatever reasoning there is. I was mentioning when you were buffering, and I don't know if you heard it in time, but if you have a chance to talk to Andrew about Darkside Rising and the limitations in the characters he had to pick, is really fascinating. We talked
Oh,
about it
really?
on one. Yeah, because you're playing. You can't just have everybody, right? Like you can't have Rey, whatever you want to call her last name. I get it, Skywalker, but if you
I
want,
just call her Ray. I just call her Ray.
yeah, you
I
can't
like
have
Ray.
Rey interacting with Jar Jar because they're so separate, right? So the game
Right.
had to take place in a certain time frame, and the characters that could potentially have run into each other in that time frame was like, okay, well, this is where we're going to live. We're going to live in Rogue One. We're going to live in Rebels, and we're going to live in the original Star Wars. It's really cool.
And yeah, Bob, I work in like 5 hours. Oh, well, I don't work. I get up in like 5 hours. But here's the thing. A, we started late. B, I'm excited to hang out with I'm excited to hang with Mike. I don't care. It's a good day, man.
I'm
And I
always
know
look forward.
Mike's got to get up like at a reasonable time tomorrow, so I can't keep him too much longer. But
Sure,
no,
sure.
dude, super excited about Darkside Rising.
Yeah,
Super excited. That's a game I've wanted for ages. But I didn't want to pay through the nose for it either. You
sure.
know, so
I paid a little extra shipping. I got it from the company in the UK, and I paid a little more for shipping to get it. I didn't pay more for the game, but it was worth it because you couldn't get it, right? And I didn't want to end up missing it and then having to pay hundreds of dollars because of secondary markets like Camp Grizzly has shown. What was the Camp Grizzly thing? Oh, it's scenario one of Final.
maybe. Maybe I haven't played Final Girl or Camp Grizzly. So I don't know. But you know what's funny, Mike, is I remember this had to have been like 2015. It was one of my first Geekways to the West I was at. Somebody had the Polish version of Mysterium there. So it was before Mysterium came to the United States.
Yeah.
And that game was like just hot shit. Everybody's excited. Everybody's got to play it. And I just so happened to be lucky enough to be related to the person who had direct access to this game.
Ooh.
So I got to play it, right? I got to play it before it came to the US. And I was like, oh my God, I want this game.
Right.
So I did not have a channel then, years away from having a channel, reached out to Portal Games and was like, hey, how do I get this game? I found the title. Let me see if I can find it quickly.
It's arguably much better than Mysterium.
Okay. Let's be clear. Asmodee's version of Mysterium has better player components. But
okay.
OG Mysterium is the freaking bomb, dude. It's better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's better. I'm going to see. I know I've got it on a shelf over here. I just got to find it. But I ordered from Poland 2 years before Mysterium came to the United States. I ordered from Poland for that reason. Like, I want this game. I want this game in my house. I paid extra for shipping, but I ordered it from the game company. Didn't pay like an exorbitant amount of money or anything.
Yeah, sure.
Ordered it from the game company to have this game in my collection because I'm like, that's a badass game and I want it. Like, I want it right now. I'm going to look and see.
The art's beautiful. Also, Ignacy is fantastic. Another genuine human in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got to meet Ignacy for like 35 seconds at Gen Con just this last year. Dan and I were walking and I was like, is that Ignacy? Yeah. Was Ignacy just like walking by? And Dan's like, yes. I'm like, Dan, let's go get our picture with Ignacy right now before the convention hall opens. Like, this is our only chance. Because he loves Robinson Crusoe. Like, that's one of his all-time favorite games. And I'm like, dude, I listen to Board Game Insider with him and Bonacore, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Mad respect for what that dude does, how he runs his company and everything. and just ran up to him, was super quick. Like, man, I love everything you do. Like, thank you so much. Can we please get a picture with you really fast? He was super nice, clearly not convenient for him. He was walking, he was going somewhere.
Yeah.
But took the minute, took the photograph with us, was very kind and very polite about it. And for me, I get it. That's enough. That is a pillar of the industry. For a dude. So for me, a dude taking a minute to just do that for us,
Yeah.
I get it. That's enough, man.
Oh,
I don't.
solid, dude.
Yeah, and again, man, I don't know how to pronounce that, but
No,
that's what Mysterium looks like if you got it before it came out in the United States. That's my flex.
the original, yeah. I can't get at it, but I have a 10 by 10. You know, the 10 by 10 boards, 10 games, 10 times, those kind of
Oh
things.
yeah.
So I have a 10 by 10, and it's got 10 dry erase plexi, white plexi on the left. So you can write your game, and then when you're done, you can dry erase it and write a new game. So I decided to have my favorite designers or people in the industry sign it with a Sharpie. So I had their autograph on something, and then I would play a game of theirs and move it up.
Oh,
So
dude.
I met Ignacy at it was Gen Con or Dice Tower Con, I forgot what it was. And I walk up and do the whole thing. And this is again before the channel, whatever. And I'm like, just say hi, introduce myself, and I love your shit kind of stuff. And can I get your autograph? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And he's looking at this thing and he goes, what's this for? Because it was obviously not something that you'd ask somebody to autograph, right? It was this white piece of plexi. And I was telling him, like, I have this 10 by 10 and I want to have 10 people like autograph it with a Sharpie and have it like kind of forever. And he looked at me like, first was like, what? And he's like, wait, so this is serious? I'm like, hey. So then he was just standing up, and then he like sat down, cleared stuff off the table, and was like wanted to make it the most perfect autograph that he could. And he block lettered his name and then signed it at the end. Like he took the time, whatever else was going on. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm sitting down, made space, and took the time to like make it perfect. Those kind of people, they're just good people.
Dude, like, seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. And yeah, had I known that I would have run into Ignacy, at Gen Con, I would have maybe been prepared to have him sign something. But I'm like looking at old school Mysterium cards, and I'm looking at things like that.
Yep.
And it's like, dude,
so much better.
Like, these things are amazing. Like, I love the art and the weirdness and the vibe of old school Polish Mysterium. Give it to me.
Just the cover alone is like, wow.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll take the Asmodee player screen, where you can seed your cards in there and everything, and they look great. And makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Table presence. It comes up off the table. It has that wow factor of people walking by going, "Ooh, what's that?"
Yeah, but man, no, I've got my English rules printed out. I've got my Polish copy of Mysterium. I won't trade it for nothing.
What's the playtime on it? Is it still 42 minutes?
Let me see. Let me see if it says on
every round. I think every round is still 7 minutes.
Doesn't say on here. You see on the box.
Gotta say it.
30 to 60 minutes.
Oh wow! So the Asmodee version of it, and it's so random that it's so specific, but it's 42 minutes. It's exactly 42 minutes.
What a trip!
Right?
What a trip!
Yeah, it's a good little trivia question, like the actual runtime of I guess regular Mysterium.
But yeah, man, I've got my beautiful Polish rule book here, and I've got my English rules printed out. But
so take your instruction book and put it in your to-go bag when you go to Origins or Gen Con and have Ignacy sign it.
Yeah, well, now that I know, you know what I mean? Now I feel like, no, I've met him. I know he's a nice dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Because again, in any industry, not just the board game industry, but in any industry, you can meet people and you're like, oh, hey, awesome. And then it's like, oh, no, there's a legit never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
mean,
for
there
sure.
are circumstances for that.
For sure.
Oh,
I agree.
oh boy. And no, Mike, I ate that Polish sausage years ago because I got hungry. And Polish castles of Mac King Ludwig. I think that would be German.
It
But
would be
no,
German. Why
no,
is Mike chatting in the chat and not on the show? He's clearly not still at dinner at 12:30.
yeah, no doubt, dude. No doubt. I call horseshit on that. Mike, did you get into your number one?
Yeah, Camp Grizzly. I talked about
Camp Grizzly. That's right. That's right.
Right here.
Well done, sir. Yep. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Well, he says he's in bed. He says he's in bed.
So,
all right.
Join the stream. Use your phone. Come on.
Dude. Oh, I don't know who Mike and... Oh, wait. I do remember it. Mike and Katie show. Oh, hey.
Hey, Mike and Katie. I'm a different Mike. There's 3 mics now. There's the original Mike. I'm the replacement Mike, and now there's a new Mike.
Yeah, we've got so many mics.
I like it.
We got so many mics.
It's a good name.
But Mike, I won't keep you much longer, dude. But tonight's been a blast.
Hey, you're the one that's got to get up in 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. I'm acting manager, so I do what I want, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I say. Oh shit. Okay. Holy crap. So that's Mike Crandall. Chemical overload.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, don't talk to me, watch. Chemical overload. Super fun game. Really cool. Lots of options. We just did a video on it. I know Mike's dying because my watch just answered.
I like how you just said chemical overload and your watch is like, I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, that's totally fair, dude.
Oh my God, that's great.
No, chemical overload, super fun. Listen to this. Listen, Bob was on that show. That was a game. Yeah, Mike's. We're gonna call you out. Yeah, we're still live. Dude, that was a game like the pleasure of doing what we do, right? The embarrassment of riches as a reviewer, right? Content creator is sometimes we get to see stuff early,
Sure.
and or even just sometimes we get to see stuff. Man, that chemical overload, check that out on Kickstarter. Tons of fun, really good game, very satisfying, and really liked it. It's really nice. I'm an independent designer. I'm not going to talk about their game and shit on it. Like, if I like their game and I have a good time with it, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it passionately because that's what we do. But just from the production
now.
Yeah, it's on Kickstarter right now. Chemical Overload. And just from the production design, the art, everything like that, really enjoyed the game. Had a great time with it. The rule book was easy. We figured it out. We played the game. It's always great when it's like, nah, I think it works this way. You try it out and then you ask questions later and you're like, oh yeah, that worked the way we thought it should.
Yeah, sure,
right?
Sure.
Well-designed game, intuitive, but super fun. Had a really good time with it. And yeah, we're excited. So, hey, Mike, thanks for popping on. And yeah, we're gonna call you out on the carpet because if you watch the first 90% of the show, you would have seen that I just called Mike here, my co-host, out big time. Threw him under the bus. Threw him under the hey, I want to play your shit bus. I'm excited to be friends with somebody that's a designer bus.
We're definitely playing it. Like I'll bring it with. We're gonna be at Origins. Origins is probably the lighter load of the 2 shows, so we'll just play it at Origins.
Yeah, it's easy, right? Easy. Let's do it. Let's do it. And so yeah, man, you're gonna pop on the
That'll
show.
be
You're gonna
that could
say,
be your birthday gift to me will be to play Batman at Origins
"Oh, dude, when's your birthday?"
the day before Origins.
Okay, so your birthday gift to me will be playing Batman with me. My birthday's in May, so my
Okay.
birthday gift will come late, but I'll get to
Okay.
play it with the designer.
Fair.
And if I'm taught wrong, I can blame him, and we'll go from there.
I will play it differently than the rule book. I will play it the way we feel it should be played.
Play it as God intended,
Okay.
right? Let's
Sure.
do it. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Good shit.
But no,
Yeah, Mike,
no,
I'm looking up Chemical Overload. I haven't heard of it yet, so I'll look. I'm gonna look it up after. Well, not after the show. I'll probably look it up tomorrow night.
yeah, yeah. Look it up tomorrow. But no, Mike Crandall really designed a very good game.
Good.
A game we had a very good time with, and I thought it was interesting, and it's a deck builder, but it does things different enough that kind of keeps it fresh.
Cool.
And if you're into the alchemy thing,
Yeah.
which I know my buddy Bobby is, like Bob loves alchemists. He loves that theme. Like that's his jam.
Sure,
Like
sure.
you make a good game in that alley, it's an instant back for him, right?
Yeah.
But no, dude, we played a game that was well designed, great art. You know, we had a good time playing it.
Cool.
What do you want? What else do
Right.
you want? So no, Mike, don't blush, dude. Be proud of it. Own it. It was a good game. We had a good time with it. And I feel like our video represented that, you know. So yeah,
Good
be
shit.
proud of it. Hold your head up, man. Because I'd say the same thing. Honestly, oh, please let me come out of Origins going, hey man, I played Gotham with Mike, and I really liked it. Please let me say that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you like it. It
No,
can
I'd
be
be-
brutal. It could definitely be brutal, but I think it's a good co-op.
Dude, I don't mind brutal co-ops.
Good.
Honestly, if a co-op is too easy, I'm out. I'm
Now,
not
if
interested.
you're a fan of the show, you'll even like the nuances that we put. Like Catwoman can't play on a story card. She can't be the first to play on a story card because you don't really trust her.
Oh,
Like
right.
there's like connections. Like it makes sense if you're an animated fan, and to be able to play in that world. Originally, it was Avengers, which was awesome, but
Right.
having the opportunity to port it over to the animated series.
Dude, you still got an amazing IP with that, right?
Oh, sure, for sure.
And also though, and I left that part out when meeting you, but like learning about that whole design process was freaking amazing. Like I loved hearing about how that converted, changed, adapted, but still worked and maybe even was better, you know, just because of like what restrictions were put on you and what you guys had to come up with. Freaking awesome, dude.
Show you. I have the. Is it there? Where is it? I think it's behind Chris's game. I think it's behind that Troubles box. I have the Avengers version of it.
Oh, right on.
All printed up, all with the art, like all the stuff that we had put together with all the like fully functional. It's a homebrew, printed off a printer, but I do have that the Avengers one, so you can see the difference, right? The
Yeah.
Batman's Batarang being Cap shield, like that whole kind of thing.
The genesis, where it came from.
They're not weighted. We just didn't do well.
It happens.
Yeah, and you rolled like shit. It wasn't my fault. You roll your own dice. You decide which dice you want to use. It's your own dice. You rolled poorly. It wasn't the dice's fault.
Not the dice fault.
Nope.
I
Although I have a poster on my game room that says your dice really do hate you. So
yeah, also true.
Yep.
Also true. And yeah, David, I don't know, man. I don't drink coffee. Oh, there goes my watch again. I don't drink coffee, but I'm going to assume that counts as alchemy because I would say mixing drinks counts as alchemy, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
But all right, Mike, it's 12:30. I probably should go to bed. Do I want to go to bed? No. Do I want to keep hanging out with you? Yes.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
But the responsible thing to do would be to sign off and say goodnight.
Sure.
But man, oh, there we go. He'd hop on for the last 2 minutes. 10% is what you like in a co-op game. Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, if a co-op game, there's Mike. Have you ever played the Grizzled?
Yeah, brutal.
Super hard, dude. But when you win that game, you remember it, right?
For
Like,
sure.
If you win the Grizzled, you're like, dude,
Oh yeah.
we played that game and we won it. Like, that feels good.
Yeah.
I am down. Oh shit, Bob. Come on, Bob. You say you brew it.
Yeah, you don't want an easy game, right? Like we talked about Arkham, right? And that feeling of like, holy shit, I just took down Cthulhu. Like that doesn't happen every time you play the game. And if it does, like, is that a good game?
Right.
I don't want to play a game and know I'm going to win. I want to play a game and feel like I won.
And I think that has been my problem with Pandemic is most of the times when I played base game Pandemic,
sure,
I don't think I've ever lost.
Sure.
And I enjoyed base game Pandemic the first few times I played it. But then, I'm going to talk about your boy, I played Defenders of the Realm by Richard Lanius. And the first time we played that game, we barely won. And I think the second time we played that game, it crushed us. Because we went in cocky. We're like, oh, we got this. And then it's like, whoa, that game slapped us around, legit. And I just respect and enjoy a game like that a lot more. Ghost Stories, any difficult co-op.
Yeah, look what Mike brought up. I don't know if you played that version of it.
Which one?
Last Bastion?
Oh, I haven't played Last Bastion.
It's Ghost Stories, but it's just a different IP. It's a different art, it's basically the same exact thing. And man, it, like you said, it beats you up. Like even Ghost Stories, like, but it's never like holy shit, I never want to play that again. It's like, oh man, we could do better. And those are the games, like those are the good ones.
Right. Yeah, I definitely do not mind a very difficult co-op because again, when you win, it is so satisfying.
Yeah.
It is so satisfying. It's a weird, I'm going to go on this really quick little side piece before we sign off. A game I've never won, but I really enjoy playing, and it's an old one, is, what the hell is it called? Flashpoint.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I've played Flashpoint like 3 or 4 times. I own it. Have never won that game.
Great game.
And I think it's because I get too arrogant about like, oh, I can do this. And then the fires just start exploding. And then the next thing I know, the building collapses on me and I'm toast.
Never underestimate the fire. Never underestimate the fire in that game.
Dude.
Take care of it.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. So my goal is to play Flashpoint and not lose at some point in time. I've never won a game of Flashpoint. I've won a game of the Grizzled. I've won one game of Ghost Stories in probably 15 plays. And then, here's Dan talking shit, which fair enough. Flashpoint's not that hard. I think, again, hubris is my worst enemy going into that game.
It can be hard, though, because you feel like there's you're like, okay, we'll get it next time. The same thing with Pandemic. There's no way Tokyo is going to come up. And all of a sudden there's the Epidemic card and you got to shuffle. And sure enough, that first fucking card is Tokyo.
And then
you underestimate it and it just kicks you right in the dick. Like it's just, those games do that to you. And Ghost Stories is the same way. There's no way we got to do this thing. Let's do this. It's not going to do the thing. And it does the thing. And you're like, well, downhill from here.
Right.
Yeah. Leave the cat, grab the explosives, leave the cat.
That's my problem is I'm an animal lover.
Sure.
I can't leave the cat.
Don't look at it as a cat. Look at it as a cardboard circle.
Right. And then it's fine.
You're good.
Right. You're right. You know what? If I pictured that cat, if that cat was named Dan, I might be able to leave it behind.
Oh,
And then
that's probably
even
why you've never won Flashpoint.
and then even take joy in just removing the explosives and leaving the cat. I think that's what I need. That's what I need to do going forward.
Just write on the thing over the cat. Just write Dan.
Dan, just Dan.
Wow, that's
That's
brutal.
it. That's it. I love my friends.
That's great.
Yeah, just wait till it's your name, Mike. On
Yeah, I
stuff.
can't wait. I can't wait for that.
Oh shit. All right, guys. Tonight has been absolutely amazing. And it wouldn't have been near as good if I didn't have Mike here to
Oh, stop. You would have
help
had the
out.
other Mike. He would have been great. He would have talked about his business dinner. It would have been an awesome show.
Dude, it's so much fun every time you come on. I appreciate it. You're so
Yeah, man.
available. And again, even if I didn't have your game is my number one on the need to play ASAP. This would have been a great list. Great list anyways. Happy to throw you under the bus.
I know you. I didn't see it coming until you said, "Wait till you see my number one." I was like, he wouldn't do that, because like we don't do that. Like I don't talk about Arkham because of Richard. I don't talk about Batman, and I don't talk about Troubles because obviously, like Arkham's the game that got me in. It's always going to be my number one, no matter you could be talking about anything. It's always going to be that game, and Batman will always have that, and Troubles will always have that. So we try not to. At least I try not to talk about that stuff. So I didn't think you'd bring up Batman, maybe a mention about it, but to throw it at number one, I mean, I'm honored. I appreciate all the wonderful things you had to say, and I'm glad that it's made that kind of impact because that's what I go for. Just there's so much shit in the world. Just try and be a decent human. Try and be kind to others. Like it's not that fucking complicated. So I'm glad it comes across.
Well, look, man. My list is composed of not only just games I want to play, but games by people I care about, right?
Right.
And I want to support. Hey, they made a game. Listen, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a podcast, a board game, it is not always easy to make that, to set that up, to have the drive, to put yourself out there. Just gonna say, and you could say the same thing for Chris, right? Asking for trouble.
Yeah.
To put something that is a part of your soul, right? Your heart that you genuinely care about, and people are gonna rip to shreds, and other people are gonna love. It's so hard and so bold and brave to put that out there. Mad respect, dude. Mad respect.
Well, we do the same thing, right? Like you do it. We're doing it now. We do it on Mondays. Like we put ourselves out there on a live show that will live most likely forever. Right. And at any point can go back to that one episode where Tim froze and looked like a dick. Like it just,
hey,
we do it every time we hit that go live button.
You own it, man. You own it.
Yeah.
But again, right, it's even more to me. And I say this because I make the videos, right? We do these videos. It's even more to me when you put a game out, because it's, to me, that the aspect of that is so personal. Sure. Because you and I, listen, no bullshit. You and I could say, hey, we're going to get on tomorrow, and you and I are just going to talk about whatever we feel like we're going to talk about. I feel, to me, it would be entertaining. You and I could talk for 2 hours and be entertaining to ourselves. We would have people that like us show up and they'd be fine, right? Like we could talk Star Wars, we could talk sports, whatever. And there's people that will care and there's people that won't. But to put a game out there, right? Because you and I talking right now, they see your face. When you put a game out there, it's just your name on a box. They don't know you from Adam.
Sure.
I could have walked up to you at Third World Studios and been like, oh man, did you play that Gotham City Under Siege game? Like that game fucking sucked. I hated it. It was terrible. I wouldn't have known you were the designer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully I wouldn't do that. Hopefully nobody ever does that, right?
No.
That's terrible.
I told you at Gen Con 18, I was playing the game with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Did I tell that story?
Yeah, you did. You
And
did.
they didn't know who they were playing with. And when that moment came, like you saw them go, "Oh shit!" And no one had said anything bad up until that point, anyway. But you don't, especially in this industry, because there are those that are like, you have that facial recognition. You know them. You know Eric Lang, right? You know
Right.
Ignacio. You know Bonacor. When you see
Yes.
Tom Vassell, you know it's Tom Vassell. But like,
Yes.
I couldn't pick some of these people out. Like Scott Alms, I wouldn't be able to pick him out of the lineup. I have no
No.
idea what he looks like. And at any point, I could be sitting at a table talking to him about anything, right? Like I sat next to at the gathering, I sat next to people that I found out later were designers of games that I loved. I had no idea who they were because it's not that type for the majority of it. It's not that type of industry. We're just, I don't know. At least my experience, the majority of the people are very humble in what we do. So
I would say that almost everybody that I have met in this industry has been awesome.
yeah.
And you're like,
Great
oh,
industry.
dude. Yeah, you know, they're just nerds. They just want to play games, you know,
Yeah.
and they want to make the people that make games and
Great. Good timing on that one. But yeah, we've talked about it. The majority of the industry, because of what the industry is, you got to be for the most part, they're decent humans because you're inviting people in. Like you come and be this thing for a little while.
well, and it's not just selling a product, right? But
Right.
and I was before I started buffering, is we're not all just nerds, but we're making games that we want to play with other people, right?
For sure.
You're making a game you want to play. You're making a game that you're excited about.
Yeah.
And again, regardless whether it's your game or not, you're running freaking conventions, dude. You are running a convention so you can play games and be around people that want to play games, whether it's your game or not, right? Whether
Yeah.
you know, it does not. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna project this out there. I'm gonna put it out there that you're gonna hold a QSCon, and if they have never heard of Third World Studios, who cares? They're playing games. You're having a good time because you're playing games with them.
Yeah, they're separate. I mean, if they have, that's great. But yeah, the whole idea of QSCon is just bringing the community together, right? Like having a weekend, or even if they just come for a day and they look at the library and they play a game that they've always wanted, or they meet some new friends, and then they realize that there's this budding community that just keeps growing, and then finds out, oh, we also meet on Tuesdays. Oh, we also meet on Sundays. Like, just keep fostering the industry because
That's it.
it's all one thing.
That's it, man. That's 100% it. And that's what I mean. The dudes, the men and women that in this hobby that I meet that are like that, right? Like Chris is humble, you're humble, Katya's humble, you know, other people that I respect and have met, super humble. Like you would just never know, right? You would never know.
Sure.
And I just love that so much.
Yeah.
I love that so much about them because they're just gamers. They're just
Yeah.
people that are excited about the hobby and they've got something fun to contribute.
But even
You
not
know?
even there are also those people that are like, we could talk about, it's not like we're in the game industry, right? But we can talk about, you know, the fact that a certain hockey team sucks and a certain hockey team is better, or talk about, you know, Jar Jar being this or that. Like, we can talk about other things, but it's that makes the person. I remember the first time I talked to Lance Meister, Undead Viking.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Lance is super cool.
I followed his videos and I knew him as that video person, right? That personality that would set up the game, tell you a couple anecdotes, like talk to you, invite you to the table, tell you some stories. Definitely a very lengthy video when you're watching one of his videos, because he does sides and he does tangent, whatever. And you get to know him as that person. And then I met him in real life, and things had happened, and eventually he's like, all right, I need to know who you are. Why do they keep talking to you? Like, they keep who are you? And he didn't know me from Adam, and we start talking, and I remember the first time I heard him drop an F-bomb, and I was just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then we talked for 3.5 hours about everything that was not board game related, just stuff, and it was fucking great. And it's those kind of moments where sure, we're in the board game industry, and sure, we love to talk about board games. That's why we're here. But if you can start rapping with somebody about anything,
Yeah.
that's it.
No, Lance is a dude, man. I got to interview him once, was super excited. He was super nice. He didn't know me from anybody. And like you, I've seen a ton of his videos.
Mhm.
Like I knew who he was, right? Going in. He was working, he was shilling for Gray Fox. He
Mhm.
still does. Good on him. Mad respect. Friends with him on Facebook. He loves his Vikings. I get it, dude. I hate the Vikings. Cool. But I mean, just a real dude. Like Lance is a dude that it's like, dude, we need to hang out. Like, dude, if you knew me, like, I just want to meet Lance, like, hang out with him in a way that's not just, hey, I'm here to interview you for the show, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, here's me
Sure.
with Lance Mikester. Here we go.
Yeah,
You know, like, nah, man, we'd be friends.
Yeah.
And but so I'm glad to hear you had that experience, right?
Oh, he
Because
at the last Origins. We left the exhibit hall. Everyone was coming back from dinner, and he's like, "Dude, where are you? I want to talk to you."
yeah.
So we met up, went to the bar, grabbed a pint, sat outside, and was just like, "How's life?" Not board game related. We didn't talk about a meeple, a cardboard, nothing. It was all about just talking, and I love Bonacor's the same way. You talked. We were
Dude.
at where were we? Was it Origins again? The Rangers were in the playoffs. This was last year. Last year, I think it was. Rangers are in the playoffs, and we're like, all right, we're at bar on 2. We're in the corner. We're watching a playoff game, and he sat right next to me and watched the entire game. And I mentioned to somebody what they asked, "What'd you do last night?" I said, "Oh, I watched the Ranger game with Bonacor," and they were like, "Wait, the whole game?" I'm like, yeah, like we had drinks, we were watching the game. That didn't sound like him. Like, why? Because you always have to talk about board games, or you always have to talk about industry. Like there are those moments where you're like, man, that's awesome, and it's just separate.
One of my favorite Bonacor stories is we played the Godfather board game together, Corleone Empire, at a Geekway. But then after that, me, my brother-in-law, and oh shoot, he designed Space Cadets, and he did he's responsible for the Ludology podcast.
Oh, Eggleston?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was all of us sitting, having a drink, just BSing, and we were talking Game of Thrones, and this was before Game of Thrones had all like wrapped up. We're not even talking about board games. We're just talking about shows we love. We're talking about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's that exact same thing, right? Yeah. It's like no, man, if I had met you and board games weren't a part of my life and we just ran into each other,
right.
No, we're going to be cool. Like, we're going to have a good time. We're going to be friends, like, regardless. Yeah. And Bonacor is one of those dudes, man. Yeah. I hung out with him at Origins. We hung out, like, on a patio outside so he could smoke. He was smoking cigars. And I was hanging out with some other people and him. And he remembered me, which was whether he was being honest or not, whatever. I don't care. But we were hanging out and he was, but we were just BSing, we're just talking. It's like a group of us of people. We're all just like one-upping each other, trying to make each other laugh, call each other out. You know what I mean? Just having a good time.
Was this last year at Origins?
Last year at Origins.
You were at bar on 2 outside on the patio with all the chairs. He was getting bottles of wine and stuff.
Smoking cigars.
Dude, I'm sitting. So if you walked from where Bonacor was sitting towards the street, me and Lance were sitting at a table right there talking. We were right there.
We're 20 feet from each other, tops.
Yep. And then 2 months later, we actually officially met at Gen Con.
Right. And then, Bob, just so you know, it was Karen that was with us.
Karen Noah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I was there. I was at that patio. That's the exact moment I was talking to you about, where Lance was like, I just want to talk to you. And we just sat there and talked.
And I made Karen laugh so hard she cried.
Karen's
like she was choking. And I'm like, I have achieved everything that I've needed to achieve at this Origins. I can go home now.
That's
like
right.
I made a complete stranger laugh so hard they cried. Like, I'm good.
How fucking funny is it that you and I were that close to each other before we even met?
Dude, it's
That's hysterical.
kismet, dude. It's
That's
kismet.
great. Yeah, Karen's awesome. Karen's good.
Yeah, I love Karen. I love Karen. She's amazing.
Wait, so Bob was there too?
Yeah.
How fucking funny.
Yeah, because
Huh.
Bob, like I knew that if I cut loose and just said everything that would be problematic to say around people you don't know, I knew Bob was with me, so I could just cut loose and just be me, right? And I had Karen laughing so hard, and Bob's like right there, like feeding me, right? Perfect wingman. We're just
How funny
boom,
is
boom, boom.
that?
And yeah,
That's hysterical.
you were outside 20 feet away, sitting at a different table. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bonacourt's hanging out with us, holding court, and we're just
Yeah.
having a great time. We're BSing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Great thing about cons. Great thing about
Oh,
cons,
yeah.
Randy. You were right.
You never know who you're talking to. You really don't. You don't know who's around. You don't know who you're walking by. You don't know who. There are times where you're at a booth and you feel like you're getting sold something, right? Like you're just at an exhibit booth, but like that's the designer of the game, and you don't even know you just think it's like some helper or something, and it's the designer or the artist or whatever. You don't know who you're talking to. It's great.
Well, what's funny is that happened to Bob. He was at the Forbidden Games booth and was talking about I forget the name of the game now, but it was Glenn Drover's game that was coming there was filling. Bob had already backed it on Kickstarter, but it's Glenn Drover talking to him.
Yeah.
And then it was Mike Rice, who's my normal co-host, is like, dude, that's fucking Glenn Drover. Like, do you know who that is? And then Mike runs over to me where I was working. Yeah.
Oh, Mosaic. Yeah.
Sir Glenn Drover. And so one of my favorite games of all time is Empire's Age of Discovery,
Right.
Which is a Glenn Drover game. And so Mike comes over and is like, hey, man, Glenn Drover's over. And I'm like, can we get an interview with him? Like, it's
Perfect timing. That's another game that not on my list, but everybody around me has been playing is that Mosaic game. It looks beautiful. Big table hog, but looks like a great game. And also haven't heard anything bad about that one either.
Oh, Empire's Age of Discovery or Mosaic?
No, Mosaic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be really good.
Bob another one that should be on the list, right? That's why I said this could have very easily been a part 1 of our top 100 games we need to play tomorrow. And then we could have turned around and done part 2 next week with another 100 games that we need to play. It's just bonkers. It's just bonkers. Also, it speaks to the level of like the quality of games that are coming out. There's none of those like there are fewer of those shit games that get laughed upon, right? Like that are forgotten about or I don't know. I remember a time where just like I can look back at some of the games in my collection and be like, why in the world did I even get this game? But like it's harder now because the quality of games, the components in games, the gameplay, the choices, like a lot of them, they're just good.
No, I mean the industry has evolved so much that there's almost no excuse, even for an entry level game designer. And that's the thing I'll say about Chemical Overload, right? Really good art design, really good iconography. The gameplay is unique enough. You're gonna build on things you're familiar with, but it's gonna do just enough different that it's not just like, oh, I'm playing this theme of X game, right?
Right.
And that's the nature of the beast, right? You've got to you can't just get by on theme or a clever mechanic now. You've got to you got to bring a little bit extra to it. Hey, Mike's still watching. I wasn't sure he was still watching, but I'll just say, hey, we're still watching.
That's great.
Dude, praise is legit. I'm not gonna Mike's reputation is on what he does as a game developer and producer at Third World Studios, right? You can't just blow smoke. My reputation as a reviewer and a content creator, I got to talk about stuff I'm excited about it. and if I just promote every garbage game that comes along, well, oh, they love everything, and that's no good. That's no good for us.
Yeah. And there also there's a line, right? Like you said earlier, you'll let the person know, like, look, I can do this, but it's not going to shine a good light on you. And then there are those that'll do it anyway because it'll spark interest and it creates controversy or whatever the reasoning is. But
Right.
You can't always be everything. So DeVito always says, if everything is important, nothing is important.
Right.
So if everything is great, then nothing is great, right? Like there's got to be standouts, and not to shit on other games, but when something is like, I don't know, not as good, it's not as good. Like you were talking about Cascadia, like it fell short for you. There are plenty of people that love it. It did well on Kickstarter, and it won. So like,
oh, dude, my opinion of Cascadia is not hurting Alderac Entertainment Games' bottom line.
Sure.
AEG is not suffering because I said it was a 7.
Yeah.
Out of a 10.
And they're not suffering because I think Point Salad is shit.
100%. I've never played it, but I think Mike likes it. Other Mike. But like also Awaken Realms, right?
That's okay.
Great Wall. Awaken Realms, big game from them.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a rough go.
Didn't you talk about that last week? Yeah, Great Wall.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, did not give it a good review.
Week before, maybe. Yeah,
we've talked about it recently. Yeah, because I almost traded it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's really not. It's not that cool though. For me, it's like that game 10. I don't like that game 10 either. I think it's crap.
Katya, I hopefully this was not a nightmare for you to wake up to Mike and I still talking about stuff.
Probably was.
And yeah, dude, David, you're 100% right. Reviews need to, and the thing is, the beautiful thing is, David, is hopefully that with we present ourselves in a way where you go, I like the game. I like the games so and so likes. I don't always love those games.
Yeah.
Or they describe that game in a way where it's like, no, you know what? Like I jive with that.
Yeah.
Because there are reviewers that I follow and I don't always agree with them, but I do respect the way that they break down games and they and they can break down a game in a way where it's like, yep, for me. Oh yeah, Bob, I totally pooped on Foundations of Rome. For me, it Foundations of Rome is like Cascadia to me. It's fine, but it's so many empty calories. It just does not satisfy me.
It's a good game and massively overproduced.
Oh, it's massively overproduced. But I will say though, like as
great.
a fan of amazing components, I love games with great components.
For sure.
And Foundations of Rome, top notch, right? Emerson, that's Emerson Masucci, right? But that made that game, dude. He made a very good game that I just don't like.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is what it is, dude.
Yeah, it's great. Like I mentioned earlier, and Mike's bringing it up now. Like that game 10, I don't like. I never want to play it, and I was criticizing it. My friend Bobby was playing it with a bunch of people at Tuesday's game night last night. But he likes that game, and if that brings him joy by playing 10, then great. And that's the best part about games is that you don't have to like. I love that people are like, oh, you should play that game, you'll like it. Why? Do you know what I like?
Yeah.
Why are you? Oh, you should play that. It's great. All right, it's great for you. Like I get it. I'll give it a try. But like to say, I don't know. It becomes very intrusive when you're like, no, you'll love that game. No, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
not good.
Now I will say though, right? Like, let's just say, there might be a game where it's like, I don't know if you like it or not, but I might be like, Mike, I want to play this game with you because I want to see what it brings out in you, right? Like, I want to have the experience of me versus you and whoever else shows up. Like,
right.
Let's do it. I want to dance. Like, let's do it. And yeah,
I
Mike,
think interesting. Katya said something that's really interesting. It's making me think. Like I'm saying that 10 is not good. And obviously that's subjective because that's my point of view on that game. But I think it's
100%.
a better way to say that it's not for me
Yeah,
because there are people that like it.
and so like right, like Mike saying his mom likes 10. It's simple, it's easy. Mad respect for that. I'm fine with 10. I don't own it, but I played it and had a good time with it. Um, the thing is though, right? When we do reviews, for example, and I will say this about Foundations of Rome, I don't like that game. People are going to like that game. It is a well-designed game. You're going to sit down, and if you're new to the hobby and you're going to go, holy shit, board games are this, right? I mean, what an amazing way to blow somebody's mind
Yeah.
that has only played Clue or Sorry or Monopoly.
Or
And be like,
Catan.
this is board games. And not only does it look beautiful, but it's easy to learn and it's
Sure.
accessible.
Yeah.
Like all of those things are positive and great things. And so, you know, like Katya says, I don't like it. It's not for me, you know.
Right.
That's a great way to say it. Is it a
Yeah.
great gateway game? Probably. You know, is it a game for people that don't want to sit down and like usually like get into real, you know, even medium weight stuff? Definitely.
Sure.
But yeah, man, I mean, again, I will talk about how much I don't like Foundations of Rome, but in the same breath, I will be like, it is a beautiful, well-made, well-produced, well-designed game that I do not like.
Sure.
That I know I'm in the minority for not liking.
Which is fine because look behind us, Tim. There's so many options of games. Like if I don't like one, great. Like that, and you do, awesome.
cares?
Like I'm sure there's games you'd play. Like right now, what game would you play? And I'd be like, ugh. And I'd only play it because it was you. It's not something that I would pull off the shelf, but it's about the experience. It's not really,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And again, though, right? That's what like real ambassadors to the hobby do.
Hmm.
I'm going to sit down if I'm at a game day and it's like, they need me to sit in on a game of Foundations of Rome to play. I'm not going to shit on that game the whole time we're playing. I'm going to be like, okay, this is how we play. I'm going to take all my turns. I'm going to play that game. I'm going to try to win.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about the whole time. Well, I guess I hate this game. Like, no, man, that's not fun for anybody. That's that's BS, man.
Yep.
That's
BS.
totally
good. And there are plenty of those people in the hobby. Like,
dude,
get it. I get it. There are people that are heavy Euro, and everything else is trash. And there are people that just want to have fun. And when you sit them down at a table, like if that heavy Euro is forced to play Happy Salmon, they're gonna complain and
they're gonna hate it
the entire time.
They're gonna hate it.
Yeah. Just go to a different table.
And oh yeah, but the board game, you know, it's a niche industry for sure.
Yeah.
It is totally a niche industry. And here's the flip side of that, Mike, is like, and I'm excited to have Katya on because unfortunately we don't have a ton of female representation on. And sure. I always am interested in hearing their experience in the hobby because they're going to come at it from a different angle, you know, than you and I.
Oh yeah.
You know, because unfortunately she's walking up to a table. Odds are it's a bunch of dudes, you know, and it could be a bunch of socially awkward dudes.
Yep.
What's your experience? You know, some people in our hobby feel like the way that they establish dominance, superiority, comfort is by, you know, gatekeeping, you know, and just, well, this is good and this is bad and just laying it out. Where they might do that with somebody like her, but they would not do that with you and I, right? You and I sit down at a table and we go, they already assume you and I know about games. Now we may have zero experience and she may have designed 20 games, but they're going to assume, right? And that's bullshit. Obviously that's bullshit, right? But I'm always curious about sort of that experience and that aspect of it, you know, because I just think that, like, you know, it's way
Yeah.
It's just so sad,
Yeah.
because
We've seen it. We've seen it on the show. We've seen it with people commenting in commenting in the comments. Sorry, I could have said that better. Like making it seem like she didn't know what she was doing on a turn that we were playing, or
oh, sure.
like when you go to a mechanic or an auto repair shop, right? And you're there with your significant other, and they're talking to
Right.
you. How do you know I don't know anything? Like it's sad.
Well, and you know what's hilarious, Mike, is my wife, her mom used to own a mechanic, like basically a gas station that did auto repair. My
Yeah.
wife knows more about car repair than I do.
Yeah.
You
But if
know,
you go into a auto repair shop, they're looking at you. Yeah, for sure.
to- totally different animal. I work in a welding supply shop. My manager, before she got promoted, was a female,
Yeah.
and she knew a ton of stuff. And I would have dudes like look me dead in the eye, ignore her,
Yeah, for sure.
and say and ask questions. And I'm like, well, she knows the answer. And I
Yeah.
would just blatantly go, you need to talk to her. Even if I knew the answer, because it's sort of like a F you, like,
Yeah,
come
for
on,
sure.
man. Like man up a little bit.
It's true, and I think a lot of the people on the other side, and it's not it. There's a lot of work to do, but a lot of people on the other side of the industry understand that and work with that in a very respectful and professional way. And the people that are sitting at the table that are playing the games haven't learned that yet, and they're
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean? Like it's not to say that the industry is perfect. There's still the
Well,
majority of the people that I familiarize myself with are those type of people, the people that I would invite anywhere, and they understand that, and it's try and correct it when you see it, right? Like don't let things slide just because, but they're still it's not
no,
level.
but
What was Bob's question?
I'll get to that in a second. But I want to
Um,
address, like again, or kind of build on what you're saying, right? Is if somebody doesn't know, let's just use Katya for an example. She's here, right? She's in the chat. We're talking about her. We both know her. If she sits at a table and is playing a game, doesn't matter the length or the depth, of it, but she knows the game. She understands it. She's familiar with it, and she's at a con and she plays a game. To me, it seems like, unfortunately, if I was sitting right next to her playing that same game, but for the first time, and it's a game she's familiar with, more often than not, if there's a rules question, they look to the dude at the table and they just assume that she doesn't know. And it's like, dude,
oh, even
like,
worse than that, man. Like we'd all be sitting, there's four people at the table, the three of us and some rando. They'll question why she did a move. Oh, you could have done that better, but they
yeah,
won't question our moves. Like it's just, and like Dave's saying, like a band worthy, yeah, sure, but some people don't know better, and that's where you got to be like, look, she's played this game a dozen times. This is our first turn, so like maybe shut your mouth. I don't know.
yeah. It's really hard to find that balance to not be a dick about it, but at the same time, it's like, look, man,
You're being
and
a dick.
and and the flip side of it is, let's just say it's her first time playing. Let her freaking play the game.
Yeah.
Make your move.
Yeah,
Do
and
your
there are
turn.
plenty of people that do that regardless. I know people that I've been at a table with, especially at QSCon, that will sit over your shoulder and tell you how to do your turn, and they're not even at the table playing the game. They just want to control shit. And it doesn't matter if they're in the game with you or if you're male, female. There are people that are just the quarterback. They want to
Yeah,
control everything. They just want to question you because they know better. That's a special kind of stupid. These are
yeah.
people that might not know they're being stupid, you know?
And Katya, let me just say, like right off the bat, I'm really sorry for making you the example for like all of this discussion. That's not fair to you. Uh, but other women, females that I've known, like in the hobby, have experienced this and have
Mhm.
had things happen to them that I know that if it was a table of guys, would not have happened to.
Mhm.
And I just think it's bullshit. I hate it, and
You better.
it's nice to see that attention is being drawn to it. Um, and so there's a light being shown on that. Hey, but I would love to get to a point where Mike and I are having a stupid conversation about this and it doesn't matter. This is irrelevant. You know, I wish Katya could comment and say, "Oh, that's never happened to me."
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
And again, it's not even. It's a funny thing that I've heard talked about where it's like, and I totally feel this way. I am not allowed and do not feel more offended than the oppressed or offended person, right? So like Katya, if this didn't bother you, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna shut up. Like that's your thing. Like I'm not gonna take up that cross for you if it doesn't bother you. But as long as it bothers you, I'm gonna be like, hey, this sucks. People need to get right. I'll probably ask you some questions about it next week. Full disclosure, I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable, but I do also want, and unfortunately, I think that everybody that watches the show, hopefully all these kind of people that hang out with us and that watch Full 42, right? They're like, no, we get it. We should be preaching to the choir, right, Mike?
Sure. Yep.
Because
I know,
they know.
I tend to stay away from those people. And if the opportunity presents itself and you can kind of like tell someone they're being a dick without being like, hey, you're being a dick, then I'll jump at that opportunity. I don't mind doing that. But the majority of the people, contrary to most belief, I'm not a people person. I would rather stick to my circle of friends because I know where we're at. I know what we do. I know what we like. And introducing new people, which I do regularly now. You don't know who you're dealing with, right? And you don't know, I don't know, you just don't know things, and it kind of makes things weird, right?
Sure.
Because you don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong person, whether you're trying to correct somebody or not. Like somebody could just be goofy and maybe be socially awkward, or maybe trying to land like, I don't know, a joke. And it just, I don't know. It's a weird thing to have to deal with when it happens. And I'm very fortunate that I can kind of pick who I'm interacting with on a regular basis. When you're at a convention, you're at a convention, and obviously you can't because you're in a booth and people are coming over. But like, I don't come on this show because I feel awkward and you guys are scumbags. Like, you guys are great, you're doing great things. Danielle Reynolds is another person that's just doing amazing things in the industry. And you tend to foster those relationships because they're more meaningful, they're more impactful. You know where you stand, you know where they stand. Like it just makes more sense. And sure, you don't know everybody, so all of a sudden it comes out like, this person's a scumbag and this person's a womanizer. Like you only know so much about people, but you can kind of tell. And you try and bring that together. Like I bring that to QSCon. I try and bring that to whatever I can, because why not, right? Like it doesn't take that much more effort to be a human to a human. Like,
dude, it's so silly to me because it seems so basic.
Yeah,
it just seems so basic.
And you know what? That's exactly why rule books suck, because in your head it seems so easy that rule is there, but the rule book is just
you just assume.
You take it for granted. You try and see the best in people, and you try and think that or try and believe that not everyone is just that has a level of scumbaggery, and then you're reminded of it every now and then, and it's sour. But as long as you're doing the right thing and you're the ambassador and you're trying to correct when that shit happens, then eventually we'll have that conversation where Kathy is in the chat saying, no, I'd never experienced that.
Right. And again, dude, like I'm the first one to admit I'm going to say something stupid and be like, whoa, you crossed the line. I get it. And as long as I can convey that didn't come from a place of malice, and I can walk, not walk it back, but like apologize and say, hey, look, let me make it right.
Yeah.
Like, let's get right. Let me get right with that, because a lot of it is also like learning other people, and stuff. And 99% of the time, being a good human being is going to get you there.
It's going to get you there. It's really not complicated, right? To
not
be
that complicated.
Kind, like, is it really? Does it take that much out of you to just be a decent human? Like, really?
Dude, I work in customer service. So I
Fuck.
will say it seems like it takes a lot out of some people to be a decent
Oh
human.
man, I was a manager of Blockbuster, 2 Blockbuster stores. I was at GameStop. Like I've done that whole retail thing with customers. It's taxing.
Well, and on the flip, right? You are a member of the industry. You know,
Yeah.
you are part of a company that produces and creates games. So you also get the flip of that.
Yeah.
You know, so but let's get to Bob's question before we sign off. And this was the one he asked earlier. So we had a dude, Bob and I run this group locally with some other friends called the Meeple Game Society, and we used to organize the big meetups. Like I said, we'd have them in like a hotel, you know, like conference room. We'd organize these meetups. We'd have swap meets. You know, we did like exchanges. We did a blind raffle one time, which was awesome, super fun for Christmas. We wrapped the games and left a vague description, and then people did a silent auction for those
Oh, cool. That's cool.
games, you know, and stuff like that. My wife works in social services, and before we had this group, we organized basically like a big fundraiser to it was a child abuse prevention, you know, thing. Bob was a big part of helping me get all of that together. So Bob and I, for ages, right? One of my all-time best friends. He's been in both of my weddings. I've had 2. Spoiler alert. One of the most stand-up guys you'd ever meet. We had a dude that was in our group that got caught stealing from a game store years ago when we were running this group hot and heavy before COVID.
Yeah.
We basically banned him. We asked him not to come to meetups after that happened. And we knew it happened. It was acknowledged. It wasn't alleged, right? Hard, concrete facts. I could tell you the game. I could tell you the story. That it happened. Saw the footage of it happening. We asked that guy not to show up, and he didn't, you know, for pre-COVID. Because, you know, we come to these meetups, everybody brings games, put them out on a table, everybody kind of plays what they want to play, puts them back. It's honor system. You know how it goes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it sounds like the dude showed up at a meetup on the most recent Saturday. Now the size and the venue of the meetups has changed in the last few years. You know, since COVID. So should he be back allowed in to the group? I'm interested in your opinion. I've got my opinion, but I'm interested in your opinion.
Fuck that guy. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, unless there was a reason, like I can't fathom a reason where he could be justified in his action. But no, you broke. I mean, second chances, but no, I'd say no. That guy is not, because what's next, right? Like if now people are having their wallets lifted from their purses, like, come on.
Totally fair. Totally
I say
fair.
no. He goes against what we are in a community. We're trying to foster local. We're trying to help places out, and he's stealing from a local game store. No.
Yeah, and so I'm of mixed feelings about this because I bring games to these meetups, and if one of those games disappeared, I'd be real salty about it.
Sure.
You know, it's one thing going, oh, I'm going to loan my friend this game, you know, and maybe I said I'd loan it to him. I forgot and they took it with them. And then it's like a month later, I'm like, where the hell is this game?
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
who has this game? But part of me also wants to forgive. I'm not super religious, but I do think that there's something to redemption and forgiveness, you know, because I know that
you could forgive him for what he did. He made a bad decision, right? He went against rules. He made maybe the place look bad, made you look bad because you're there and somebody that you brought in stole from the place. Like, sure, forgive him. You made a poor choice, man. But you're letting him back in to let that happen again. That's that whole fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me.
So here's the thing, and talking to you about it, and I've thought about this a little bit, and I think my thing is I think maybe I personally could forgive that person, okay, and say, you know what, because I know I have evolved. I am not the same person I was 20 years ago. Now, granted,
Sure.
this was like 5 years ago, right? But the flip side of that is I can say, I trust you, I forgive you, but I can't vouch for the 30 other people that are here.
Sure.
And as if I am presenting that event, QSCon, let's just say I'm hosting QSCon Tuesdays, and I
Mhm.
know a dude has stolen something,
Yep.
convicted
Yep.
from a game store, video evidence,
Yep.
hardcore. I would have a very hard time exposing that. It's one thing for me to make that decision for myself. I think I would have a very hard time making that decision for 30 other people,
Yeah.
especially when that event and that experience is directly going to reflect back on me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, Mike, right? I'm going to assume somebody goes to QSCon, and if they have a terrible time, God forbid, it was terrible, people were rude, blah, 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 you're going to take that personally. That's your
Sure.
baby, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
So I feel like I don't know that to begin with, I didn't know the dude well enough to say, hey, come to my house and let's play games. But I am
Sure.
pretty open. Maybe I would be like, you can come to my house and play games. I am taking on the responsibility of myself. That is my own collection at risk.
Sure. Sure.
But I don't know that I would be comfortable exposing other people. Like if I make that decision, now I'm responsible for X amount of other people's games, collections, things
100%.
that they have brought in. And if
Yep.
something comes up missing, it is, I was at Tim's event and that happened to me.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who did it to them.
Yep.
That happened to me. And Katya
Nope.
just nailed it right there, right?
Yep. Yeah, you have to take that responsibility. I've had to ban 2 people from QSCon for things. One was, I guess both were harassment level. One more sexual nature harassment that didn't happen on the premises. It didn't happen to QSCon. Didn't happen during the convention. It happened after the convention. But what happened? It was in between days, right? So it was like whatever the fuck, Friday night after the con, and it's 24 hours. So they left and then had contacted some people that they had met at the con, and it got, like really weird. And then the next day, like that's going to make those people that are now attending uncomfortable because of that interaction.
Right.
So like I had to ban them, and you could be redeemed. You could feel bad for what you did, but you're making people uncomfortable, which could then affect things, right? Like they could feel sorry for what they did, but now you're putting your 30 people at risk where their stuff could get lifted. And are you okay with that? And the other one, Katya knows about, like it was harassment of a different nature. And look, you're just making people feel uncomfortable. Like it's just not the vibe we're going for. And I'm sorry, but there's the door.
Yeah, man. No, I really like the more we talk about it, right? Like the more I feel like forgiveness and redemption is one thing.
Sure.
And if that dude worked his way back into everybody's good graces, and became a pillar, sort of the community, maybe a different story. But
Are there other meetups? Are there other opportunities for this person to get back into the? Are there other game nights at the? Is he banned from the local game store?
I don't think no, because the store that he stole from was not in the same city we are in.
Okay.
It's hard to make that make sense, but
Okay.
What happened was he stole from a store, and it was like there was a thing put out amongst Northern Indiana game groups that was like, "Do you know this person?" And it's like, "Oh shit, we know who that is." And yeah, so a store that's like 2 hours away from us, and again, caught, convicted, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn it, like literally the week before that happened, this person asked me. I had I mean, we had games, and he's like, "Oh, Starfarers of Catan. I've always wanted to like, I've always been interested in that." We didn't get a chance to play it, but he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I like look at the components, and stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, go through my game. I don't care," because that's how I'm a freaking open book, you know, like, hey, yeah, go through, like, check it out. Is that something you want?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
but I, you know, again, I was then horrified. Not gonna lie, went through and counted all my shit right out of my Starfarers. I don't know what he would have stolen out of there if I was missing a ship or something. Nothing was stolen out of there. But once you know that, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
so if there is theft, I mean, theft is huge. Harassment of any kind, unless if person X harasses person Y, and then like tries to come back years later and say, "Hey, I'm back and I'm changed." If they have not reconciled that with the offended party, like, I'm sorry, you still got to be gone, right? You know, it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I harassed you and made you uncomfortable, and you're like, "Dude, like he cannot come to QSCon," and then like 5 years from now, I'm like, "Hey, I'm back at QSCon." If I haven't fixed that with you, can't
No.
happen. It's a
No, because
different story if I
I
fix
still
it with
feel
you.
uncomfortable. That person still feels uncomfortable, and people in your group might feel uncomfortable that that person's there. And
Right.
like you said, unless they go around and like, what are you going to sign a petition to see if that everybody wants him back? And what if it's 29-1? Is it not unanimous? And that means no. Like, I think you got to do what's best for the group,
I
the
mean,
collective group.
I agree. I think you got to preserve the group. And Mike, I can tell you privately, like, the name of the store.
Yep.
I'm not comfortable just saying that person's name, because if they are trying to make amends, I feel like they deserve that opportunity, and I
Sure.
don't want to refan the flames. Let's just
Yeah.
say, personally, I'll tell you. You ask me a question, I'll tell you personally. Uh, but yeah, they stole a game. Yeah, I can tell you the game because that's not a secret. It was Feast for Odin. They put right down, like, stuffed it like in their jacket, walked right out the store, right on the camera for it.
It's a massive game to do that with, too. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it
So
sucks.
we meet at a local brewery every Tuesday, right? The dude's awesome. The people that work there are awesome. He crafts his own beer. His liquor and wine is local, like it's from local places in New York. He tries to do as much New York as possible with the food. So we meet there, and like I said, we had 44 people a couple weeks ago. We had 37 yesterday. Not that everybody has to buy something, right? But we are trying to support local, and if they don't exist, we don't have a place, kind of thing. And a few months ago, back to back weeks, someone bounced without paying their check.
I saw that in
Right,
the Discord.
right. So, like, was that a genuine great game, guys? It's 10 o'clock. I need to go, and I forgot, or were you trying to skirt? And the other thing is, I don't even know if they're part of the QSCon or if they're from another group that came in and like did it
Oh,
intentionally. I don't know any of that. So then I made the comments. I posted, look, anything, you're out. It was quiet for a while. And then it happened again a couple months ago. This was November, and then a couple months ago.
mhm.
And I had to do the thing like I'm a fucking babysitter of these adults. Like, pay your damn tab. Like, you're affecting the people. And it's a good thing that the owner is like writing off the ticket, because every place else I know of would charge the waiter or waitress
Yeah,
like the bill. So like he's just like, don't worry about it. But like if I find out who that person is, they're banned.
yeah. And they gotta be.
Especially if it's a repeat, because I don't know if you're doing it on purpose. Oh, I forgot. Oh, you forgot 4 times? Come on.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, Mike, right? Is when you bring those people in, you are the guy bringing those people in.
Correct.
You are the guy. That
And it's
reflects.
it's public. It's public. It's not
Yeah.
like it's a ticketed event and it's invite only. Like it's, hey, we meet here at 6:00. Like, come join us. And those
Right.
people that are banned are banned, like, because it's a QSCon event. So great. But like anybody could come in. So
Yeah.
like anybody could come in, get their food and just bounce early enough. Like, but when I find out who that person is, yeah, they're done. Like,
Yeah, that sucks, dude. That sucks.
and they're
And
not
again,
directly impacting my QSCon folk that come to the place to play games, right? They're not lifting any game from anybody's bag, but
right.
they're affecting the place that has opened up their door and treating us like family to be like, hey, come use our facility for nothing. And now you're going to abuse that? Nope.
Right.
I don't want you to.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. They are providing a space for you to play games.
Right.
I mean, true story. When I was in high school, sometimes it was like we want to play D&D, but where can we play? You know, like, oh no, my buddy Greg doesn't want, his mom says nobody can come over today, right? Okay, my house ain't no good. Where can we go? Let's go sit somewhere and freaking so we can play D&D for 4 hours, you know, and not have anybody
Right.
interrupt us. You know,
Right.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity, right? You got a nice place. You can
Yeah.
go hang out, play games. It's freaking cool. You can have some beverages.
Yeah.
You know, and you feel good because it's like I'm bringing people into this, you know, business. You know, hopefully they're getting, you know, people are buying some drinks from them or some food from them that normally they
Right.
would not be in here.
Yep.
Like we're scratching each other's backs. It's a great relationship.
Yeah.
And then you got people shitting on it, you know,
Yeah.
and
Think
it's
about it.
terrible.
They're opening up their place for you so you can have 30 people join in and play games on a weekly basis, right? Some douche comes in, steals from the place. What's that place going to do? Look, we don't know who it is. We can't have you back in the store. So all 30 people are now nomads and are displaced
Right.
because of one person.
Right.
So now you're affecting not only the people's wares and like their security, but like now they don't have a place to play because one person, you know what I mean? Like it's an interesting conversation and it's a hell of a choice to have to make, but
Well, and also here's the rub, right? Is Mike, our hobby, right? The thing we love is also a safe haven for people that don't always fit in super easy to mainstream society.
yep.
You know. And so when you add that, and I'll just say it, I feel like that is an added responsibility that we
Sure.
have, right? As
Sure.
people that organize events. Like it doesn't matter like if you love every single one of those people.
There it is. Yeah. I guess to further that while he's buffering, we just had that happen with a couple of people that come to Tuesdays. Someone who is banned reached out on a digital platform and started stirring up drama and blames everybody else for everything else that's happened. And it's like these people just want a game and have fun on a fucking Tuesday, man. Like they don't care about this shit. Like just stop doing what you're doing. Like just
No, and that's the thing, and it was what I was going to get to is like as somebody that now organizes events, right, and helps plan events like this, it's so important to be able to create a place where everybody can feel comfortable, come in and play games and just have a good time.
Yep.
Male, female, whatever, right? Whatever your orientation is, whatever your politics are, whatever, it doesn't matter, man. Let's all sit down and play some games together and just be human beings, you know, together. Have a good time.
And even that, as open and inviting and inclusive as you want to be, there are those people that are never welcome at any of my events, right? Like if you're a pedophile, fuck off. Like there are levels of like I can forgive politics, I can forgive certain points of view. Like I get it, right? We all have different upbringings, we all have different people in our lives that have influenced us as we grow up, right? And leave imprints that might not be, you know, to your liking because you're on one side of the aisle and the other person is.
Sure.
Like I get all that stuff, but there's some people that are just like for the betterment of the for the greater good. Like you're just not welcome. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care that we both like rolling dice. If you do these certain things, I just don't want to know you. And that's one of the things. Like if you steal, fuck off. Like
you kind of have to go. I mean, you have betrayed a sacred trust, right? That we all have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not to me organizing a meetup and having all these people, especially people bringing their personal games and stuff.
Yep.
It's not that different than having somebody in my home.
Yep.
And it's like if you steal from Mike and he is at an event that I coordinated, you have stolen from me.
Right.
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 It's I don't know if you've seen the movie Green Room, but they sing a punk song. Nazi punks fuck off. I mean, it's sort of like you talk about people not having a place at your table.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just fuck off, man. Not interested.
Yeah. I mean,
and we
and
can
there's
get,
a time,
we can
there's
get
a time
salty
and a
after 1
place.
o'clock.
There's a time and a place for that fuck off conversation, right? But yeah,
For sure.
I think you have an interesting choice, and I think sure, people can be redeemed. Like, look at the Mandalorian. People can find their way back somehow, right? People can feel bad for what they did, but I think ultimately you have 30 other people you need to think of, and although you can, maybe they can't, and you have to watch that.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Is I could say an off-color remark that makes you upset, Mike, and you could go, "Hey, man, like not cool," like that really. And it may take you a minute to get to that point where you can even tell me how that hit, that nerve,
Yep.
I can work from that,
Sure.
because if we can come to an understanding where it's like, no, I said something stupid, I'm going to move on. Like,
Right.
Allow me to move on. Please let me learn from this experience. That's a different animal. Right. But there's some behaviors and there's some things that are just really hard to get past, where
100%.
you have betrayed a level of trust that is, and again, the person that did this, maybe if you want, you can invite them to your house for games,
Sure.
with people. Your prerogative.
There are plenty of meetup groups and opportunity for people to get involved in other things around this hobby, right? Like, even though somebody is banned from a QSCon event, I can't stop them from entering a public building if it's not rented or a private event, right? Like, I can't.
Right.
Like, it's a QSCon thing, so you're not welcome at the table. You're welcome if it's the front of the store or whatever. Like, I can't stop that unless they've now pissed off the game store and they're not welcome to the game store. So
Right.
that's the thing. Like, the location you're at, if they've pissed off the powers that be, then sure, they might not be allowed in. And it could be something like, it could be misunderstood, and a friend of yours that's now not allowed in because they did something. And you're like, well, just let them in. Well, if it's good for one, it's good for everyone, right? And if this is that thing, then sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Good night, Katya. Thank you so much for popping in. I can't wait to have you on the show next week. Hopefully you're already asleep. But yeah, Mike, no, that's great, man. I appreciate the input on that. Bobby, good question.
Yeah.
Really good. I feel like we should wrap up on that because I'm going to go to bed for like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I'll sleep until 6 tomorrow. Mike, I knew this was going to happen. You and I get on and you and I could just go, dude.
Yeah.
But no bullshit. That's the thing I love about you. You and I could just.
Is this longer than the first show? What was our first one?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. I think so, dude. Even
Like,
with my
was 3 hours and
half-hour late
15
start and my flub in the middle.
Yeah, but it was 3 hours. It was only like it was only a couple minutes that you were MIA.
Yeah.
But it was 3 hours and 15 minutes because 315 is Syracuse's area code. So I thought that was funny. So that'll stick, right?
Perfect.
And then this is an hour 38. So we're at 450. Do the math. 452, 453.
I mean, dude, we're hitting it. And David, I ain't that young anymore. I'm 44, man. I'm gonna be 45 in a month and a half. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. Not gonna lie. But my big day at work was today, so I know tomorrow I can go in and sleepwalk, so I'll be okay.
Great. And tomorrow's a huge day for me, so this should be a great turn of events.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Oh, I'm
sorry,
totally.
bro.
I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. I'm a night owl. I don't sleep much anyway. Give me 4 hours, I'm fine. So
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good on light sleep,
yeah, yeah,
but Mike, dude, man, what an amazing night, man.
yeah,
Thank you
man.
so much. It was a good time. Never
Anytime,
disappoint. Never
anytime.
disappoint.
Happy to come on. I do. I appreciate you. I'm sad Mike isn't here because I love Mike as well. I do appreciate what you guys do. I said it before, but thank you for the kind words. I know you threw me under the bus on purpose, but
Oh,
it
totally.
does. I do appreciate it.
No, dude, no. But seriously, we're in so much trouble when we get to Origins. I'm just gonna
Fuck,
say it.
fucked. Yep.
We're in so much trouble.
Oh my
So much
god, yeah.
trouble. And it's a good thing we didn't know each other when we were younger, because it would have been way worse. I'm just gonna say that too.
It would. Well, I don't know. You're a Notre Dame fan.
Man, listen, man. Listen. I don't mind rolling as long as you got a team
Sure.
that you can pull for and we can talk trash together, we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, there's certain teams. I mean, I appreciate hockey, and if you like hockey and you don't like a team I don't like, that's fine because it's hockey. But like, I have a real problem with certain teams and people that like certain players on certain teams because it says a lot about who they are.
Agreed. Oh,
I
agreed,
immediately
dude.
judge you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But here's the other thing. It's one thing if you're like, I don't know anything about hockey, but fuck the Rangers. They're terrible.
Right. No. What?
Right.
Why?
Like,
Yeah.
what's the point? But it's
Yeah.
like, no. Like, I don't like the Rangers, because I'm an LA Kings fan. Like, screw you. Like, let's go. Right.
Fuck
Or I'm
that.
a
The
Boston
Rangers
Bruins
shouldn't like
fan.
you because you're a Kings fan because you beat us in the cup. No. That's total other way around. Like
Right.
I would
Because
get a Montreal, a Capitals fan, or a Montreal fan, I guess more, hating the Rangers because of what we did. I was at the Garden game when we beat them to
Oh.
go on to play the Kings, so I can get it. Like I get it, right? When they don't like you because of
But
those moments, but it's
but that's
because we have a passion for the thing.
and that's a fun conversation.
Sure.
Right? Because we're gonna be passionate about it. We're gonna have a good
Yep.
time.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna crap on something arbitrarily. And let's just say you love a player I hate. Believe me, I'm gonna dig, and we're gonna just
Sure.
go, right?
Sure.
We're just gonna
Yeah.
go, but we're gonna have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
and that's what I mean, Mike, is like we'd be in trouble because you and we could hang out and we get into some trouble together because
Oh my god, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
we could throw some drinks back or we could talk all freaking night. I mean, that's just,
Yep.
that's what it is.
It's
That's
gonna
what it is.
happen. Middle of June.
God willing, we get some board games in between there somewhere. But
We'll get at least one. We have a date. We're gonna be playing Batman, so we'll have a date. This one right
we're
here.
playing one. We're playing at least one, and then
We'll
we're
play
gonna make.
both of these. We'll play Batman and Troubles.
There we go, and then we'll make Mike play Happy Salmon with us.
Oh, please. On that patio at Origins? Yes.
Maybe we can get
Yes.
Bonacore to do it with a cigar, like a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Karen would do it. She doesn't care.
Steven will absolutely play that game. Karen would play the game for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that's gonna be fun.
All right. We're getting the usual suspects all together. We're going
Love
to be a prison lineup ready to go.
We'll have to
Yeah.
do a stream from Origins.
Oh, dude. It's going to happen. We'll have
Okay.
cameras there. We'll be ready to go. We got a booth. We got a booth already at Origins. We got a booth at Gen Con just for the show. So
Good. All right.
yeah, you're not snaking away without hanging out with us and popping
I'm in.
in.
Let me know
So,
when.
It's going to be amazing. But yeah, Mike, dude, always a pleasure. Super excited. It's always a freaking great time, man. Always a great time. And David,
Anytime.
I agree with you 100%. Done crimes, but still in the team. So I'm looking at you, Alabama college basketball team.
Sure.
But yeah, man, we are gonna finally sign off at 1:49 a.m. Mike's like, I gotta get up early. Hey, great. Like, we can't go all night. Let's not go all night, or let's just go later than we ever have before.
Yeah, you're not planning any important shit Thursday if you have me on and we're drinking whiskey and it's Whiskey Wednesday. It's not. It's not.
It's true. It's true. You're right. And
Anytime.
we had good questions. And oh, Mike, so sorry. You're gonna have to wait till next Whiskey Wednesday to ask your questions. Oh wait,
Well,
let me
that's not
answer them.
true.
Let
That's
me
not
answer
true.
your.
You can go on the Full 42 Discord because both Tim and I will be active there, and we'll probably answer there. You can go to the QSCon Discords. I'm always there too, so you can ask your questions. We'll answer
Let,
them.
I will just answer Mike's question. Yes, Chemical Overload was super fun. Everybody should go check it out on Kickstarter right now. So I answered your question. You're a great dude for giving us a shot at your game. I appreciate it.
There you go.
But yeah, man, thank you so much, Mike.
Yep.
We are gonna finally sign off after our list of top 10 games we need to play ASAP, which went super long, but who gives a shit? Because it was a blast.
Swimmingly.
It was so much
Swimmingly.
fun.
It was
dude.
great. We had great conversation in between too. I loved it.
No, and yeah, again, great comments, great conversation, always a blast. Dude, I can't wait till we get to hang out in real life. It's gonna be amazing.
Soon. Happening soon.
So for the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
I'm still Mike.
He's still Mike, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you for watching.